You are starting out, or if you're in the process of reviewing your various risk assessments related to raw materials and suppliers, then this video is timed well for you. I just wanted to share this with you because I've seen many different systems through auditing and consulting with our clients. And there are two approaches that you can take. So the one approach, which I see quite often, is where individual raw materials and individual suppliers are risk assessed on an individual basis. Now, you can imagine that the business ends up having many different documents, all of which require document control and regular review. So if you can imagine products A, B, and C, each of those potentially having multiple suppliers for deal sourcing, etc., from a business continuity point of view, then you end up already having several individual documents to control. And the problem with that is that if you miss out a particular factor, and I've seen this particularly recently on an audit, where the risk of fraud, for example, which is a requirement to risk assess, wasn't covered, and therefore it wasn't covered in all of those individual documents. Now, we know that we need to risk assess raw materials and suppliers for lots of different things, as detailed in the standard under section 3.5.1.1 for your supply raw material risk assessments, but again needs to be considered under 5.4 for the vulnerability for fraud. There are so many different factors that we need to risk assess that I'd like to talk about the second approach, which to me is much better, and that is to put it all in one place on a spreadsheet. Now, you can argue this point and you can do it exactly how you like. The auditor doesn't mind as long as you have covered all the points. But from an economical point of view, from a point of view of being comprehensive and having everything in one place, it just makes sense to list all of your raw materials against all of your suppliers for those raw materials, and against, if you think of column headings, against all of the various factors that the standard is asking you to assess. So assessing those raw materials for microbial hazards, allergenic hazards, subject to legislative control. Do you have any custom requirements for that raw material? Do you have the information on the vulnerability for fraud from each individual supplier? Have you got their certifications, their latest certification up to date? Have you recently audited them? And how are they performing? That can be noted on the same spreadsheet, because that, of course, will affect their risk rating to your business. Just putting it all in one place is a really good idea, and you've got all of those prompts so that you don't miss anything. And it's, as I say, it's much easier to keep that document live and regularly reviewed as well if it's all in one place. So that's just something to let you think about ways and means of complying with the standard. And if you need any assistance at all in perhaps revising the structure of your quality management system so that it's easy to keep maintained and up to date, if you need help doing that, do let us know, and we can support you with just such a project. At the same time, why not go paperless? That's something else that we support sites in doing, is doing all of this paperless. And it's streamlining, it's economical, with best use of your resources in staying compliant at the same time. All right, I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much.